Welcome back to the Becoming Room. I'm your host, Tashira. I'm really glad you're here with me today. As always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, because there's no pressure to figure out anything right now. Just listen. So first, I want to ask you, what is something in your life that used to feel safe, but now just feels heavy? Hmm, that needs a whole moment in itself. Today's conversation addresses when staying costs more than leaving. There is a moment when most of us experience when we actually acknowledge the truth of the situation, right? Most of us don't talk about it until after the fact, but it's the moment when something that once felt safe starts to feel really heavy. And it's not dramatic and it's not explosive. It's just heavier than it used to be. And instead of quitting right then, instead of leaving right away, we usually do what we've always done, which is stay. We stay because staying feels familiar. We stay because we've invested the time, the energy, parts of ourselves that we don't know how to get back. We stay because admitting that something has changed is hard. Because change, real change, asks us to grieve before it gives us relief. So we tell ourselves stories, right? Maybe it'll get better. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe this is just a season. And sometimes those things are true. But sometimes they're just delays. The part that people don't warn you about is that it doesn't cost you immediately. Staying sometimes costs you very slowly. Staying costs you energy, it costs you clarity, it costs you enthusiasm for the things that you used to love. You stop feeling excited, you stop speaking freely, and you stop trusting your own reactions. And you don't always notice that it's happening until you feel disconnected from yourself. See, your body usually notices before your mind does. The tightness in your chest, the shallow breaths, the heaviness that you feel before walking into certain spaces with certain people, that exhaustion that just doesn't go away with rest. Those are all signals, not demands, not ultimatums, just information. And when we ignore that information long enough, the body finds ways to speak louder. I guess I'll be honest with you guys for a moment. There were moments in my life where I knew deep down that staying was costing me more than leaving ever would. Because leaving meant disappointing people. It meant letting go of versions of myself that felt necessary. And I needed time to process that. Um, that's something that I need you to know. It's okay to take time. And needing time doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. Loyalty is beautiful until it hurts. When loyalty requires you to silence yourself, shrink your needs, or override your intuition, it stops being devotion and starts being abandonment, self abandonment. The line is so subtle, you don't even notice it because you don't cross it all at once. You cross it in small moments, little compromises, quiet justifications, until one day you realize you've been showing up everywhere except for yourself. Here's an important note, right? Leaving doesn't always mean walking away. Sometimes leaving is emotional, sometimes it's energetic, and sometimes it's internal. It's deciding, I'm not going to keep explaining myself. I'm not going to keep minimizing what I feel. And I'm not going to keep pretending that this doesn't affect me. That decision alone can change everything. If we're honest with ourselves, what scares us the most is leaving because it's the unknown on the other side of staying, right? It's the question, who will I be if I stop tolerating this? And that's a heavy question. It's not an easy question. So just sit with that, right? Because you don't have to answer it today, but you do owe yourself enough to ask it. Let me say this. You don't have to make a plan right now. You don't need to burn bridges, and you don't have to explain your awareness to anyone. Awareness in itself is powerful. Noticing is enough for today. Before we end, as always, I want to leave you with something to sit with. It's that same question that I asked in the beginning. What is something in your life that used to feel safe, but now feels heavy? Just notice what comes up when you ask it and be honest with yourself. So, thank you again for being here in the Becoming Room. Be gentle with who you were and patient with who you're becoming. And I'll see you next time.